Good morning, everybody. This is COOLA from Rawstocks. We are having a bit of a move today, and we need to be focused on this week because I believe it's a big time pivot to be watching. But NVIDIA remains bullish. So there's a little bit of softening there, but we're going to take a look at it. So stick with us. Let's get into it. All right. So first thing first, shout out to our sponsors, Black Box Stocks and Gamma Edge. If you guys are interested in seeing how we do this, take a look at my X profile or my Discord profile, and you will see links to both Gamma Edge and Black Box Stocks. Take a look at those, get your trials, and see what I'm seeing. Okay, so it's Monday. So we are doing the calendar here for the economic calendar. Biggest thing this week, truly, is we have meeting minutes on Wednesday. We have unemployment claims on Thursday, which we know those will probably come in good. Existing home sales is going to be another one. And then additionally, we have JP talking on Friday. So that's going to be a big one on Friday. So that's what we got coming up. Now let's take a look at where we are on the S&P. So we saw virtually a top broken here at 64.27. We saw a little bit of a consolidation here, and then are we prepared to see some relative pullback today? Well, the daily four, hey baby, you got it, babe. You got to do that up there. Sorry guys. We have a relative pullback here, potentially pullback, with the daily four closing underneath there, but this is all in a consolidation range here. So this would be one of those times where I say closing below the daily four may be something that's given us a false sense of a potential weakness. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the data and see what it's telling us. All right. Daughter tried to come in here into my office and try to play that her show. All right, so we are looking at the full complex here, call dominated gamma conditions. Still 6,500 remains to the upside is what everyone's looking for. Will we continue to do that? As we look past to the downside, do we see any of these strikes looking to grow, or are they growing? We're not seeing anything like that. So to me, I always look at this as, it's nothing really super big to be looking at unless we see those kind of really growing for us a relative pullback. So what may seem like it's showing a bunch of weakness isn't really showing us a ton. Now, will this be the first day of it? Yeah, potentially. But realistically, what we're looking at is a 6,500 to the upside, or 6450. Both these are large, and then a 6435 and potentially down to 6400. So if we do get this 6400 visit, I think we need to really monitor this as a potential crackdown. Okay, and that maybe we'll see shorts added today, but realistically, I think 6400 would hold if we get down there, and then we'll see if that is the potential pullback before a move up towards 6,500. Okay. So cracking this down, or breaking this down, let's pull up the chart. So that what that gives us today is we have a range from 6,500 to virtually 64.35. And so the only real reason why I would see us break down here is if we broke below 64.30 for some type of VIX event to sell down towards 6,400 today. That's the only thing that I see really breaking us down here. As you can see, we have virtually our support down here at 64.35. It's our demand here. if we break below this, then I think that we'll have a hard time coming back above 64.35 because the short will be deep in negative territory here, and I think we could potentially be range bound between 64.35 and 6400. Well, what's that look like, right? So if that is the case, where we see, like, say because where are we at right now? We're right at the low of that, so right in this range, right? So let's say we sell down into this range and we slip this, right? Well, it's going to cause a big sell. And then I think what would happen is we'd find something in the sense of something like this, and maybe find some type of reversal, right? But to me, if we bounce off of this range or bounce off 64.40, this could lead us towards some type of move up towards their high here, or potentially even recapture both these highs. Now, normally speaking, when we see something like this and a squeeze like this, it usually takes the lows out before we see some move like that. So with that being said, wouldn't surprise me to see us maybe drop down here today, maybe spend some time chopping down here before we see, let's say, either the following day we gap down towards 6400 and run back up, or we find ourselves just maybe even bouncing off of today. I think you have to set up and look for the calls. I will say that it doesn't look great for any type of follow-up towards 6500 just in today. And I know that sounds weird because we have a full path here, but normally speaking, 64.50 would be kind of that spot you need to watch, right? Because 64.50 is a pretty strong move here. So keep an eye on that. Mark that in your charts. That's going to be Friday's close. All right. Mark that in your charts and kind of keep an eye on that as a potential full-blown pivot point for us to really start to get aggressively bullish on the day. All right. If we get over the top of this, where we closed right here, this blue line, watch for that to really pick up speed for bulls to get to the upside and maybe visit this high, this open, or even extend all the way into that 6,500 range. Okay. But I want to go over something real quick, and that is NVIDIA here. All right. So let's pull up NVIDIA, and this is where things get interesting. Because full complex here, we still remain very bullish, 3.9 GEX here, 3.9 million GEX. Very high target at 185. We're starting to see things like 200, 195, 190 really grow behind it. And 180 being a very strong bullish spot here for us. And that is virtually where we are opening, about where we're opening right here. So what's to be said here? So when I look at 180, right, I look at that as, hey, here's your pivot point. It's not our positive gamma support here. As you can see, we have a decent amount of support here at 175. That's realistically where I would say that we start to see, if we lose 175, that's where I say that the tides kind of turn. However, with that being said, 180 is a pretty strong point here. So if we do lose 180, I do imagine that we'll probably find our way down towards 175. Okay. So if we stay under 180 here, watch for a move down towards 175. I don't think it's proper for you to short it unless you get under this 179 level here. You can see multiple points here for this to really kind of hold at 179 on Friday. So I know under 180's weakness, and we'd like to say short under 180, but realistically, I won't be convinced until we see that 179 level that you can see multiple. We spent multiple hours holding there at 179. Now, if we get over the top of 180 and we hold it, then watch for a move up towards 185 today. I think there's a really good chance of that. All right, if we hold 180, but it's going to be important to hold 180. You could see all of this supply up here that we need to be cautious of at these levels. So yeah, the target's 185, but we have a ton of supply up here where we need to be monitoring people trying to sell into that range. Everyone trying to drive it up to 185. Typically, this right here is a move what we see when we see some firms starting to unload some into those areas where they know we're trying to drive price up there, but they're unloading some shares right before you get there. And that's why we see it coming up a little bit short, but they also have the volume because people are piling in there because they think it's getting to 185. So this is where it's an interesting look here, as we know that they're most likely unloading some positions here. And if we crack below 180, this thing could slip here, right? This thing absolutely could slip here, go down towards 175. If we lose 175, then look for 172.5. And really, realistically, the only true soft spot that I would say is between 172 and 170. All right. And 170's got a decent amount of pull towards it once we get below 172. But you can look and try to aim. If we crack 179, it's not a bad play to look for this thing to hunt this low down here and head towards 170. However, you need to know that 175 is going to be a pretty good support for NVIDIA here. All right. Breaking through 185 would give us the potential squeeze we'd need to make it up towards 190, 195, and 200. As you can see that the upside here towards 190 is probably the most likely deal if we break over the top of 185, but our range remains 185 to 170 for the week as of right now. Moving on to Tesla. If you guys are focused on Tesla, I think today is going to be pretty insightful for us. It's call dominated, but not by much. You can tell that there's a decent amount of shorts trying to target Tesla to try to see this thing pull back. However, we are leaning towards an upside move with the extension up to 400 like we haven't seen in quite some time. Okay, so it's really lit up here in trying to gather a lot of calls at 400 here. So we're going to be monitoring this area here as a potential pull on the market here if we break toward over 350. As of right now, we're sitting at 328, excuse me, which puts us right in this pivot point, right? So we're at a pivot point here where 330 is a potential breaking point for us to move up towards 350. Or we see ourselves kind of being pulled back down. Well, we have a little bit of, I would say more so this would generally, if we had a larger 300 or maybe a larger, like say 310, 315, I would say this would really be undecided and say that it's going to likely lean towards a chop. However, we do lean more bullish here in call dominated conditions. We need to be monitoring this. Looking at the weekly here, 345 to the upside, 320 to the downside. Again, leaning bullish here, but you need to be ready for the pivot here at 330, which we got marked here. 330 is a positive gamma support. We have weakness under 327.5, which is virtually Friday's low. If we crank below there, I'm expecting to visit down towards 320. All right. If we pop over 330, I don't have a problem with looking at, say, like 350s on the week. As you know, top right now is 345, but if we really get going, I think that will expand towards 350. Okay. So keep that in mind. There are a couple overhead shorts on NVIDIA. However, there is a lot of pull towards the upside here, and the overhead shorts are not very strong. So with that being said, 330, monitoring that. 340, we can see that there's a little bit of a short here. that we need to be monitoring for them to protect 340, which is virtually Friday's high. All right. It's a large range. Everything remains bullish, but it is given latitude today. And with that being said, you need to know that that is going to probably lead to some volatility. There's not a big data week going on, but today we do have the potential agreement between Ukraine and Russia. And so if we do get that, I think that is why we have the upside towards 6,500 today. We're going to find out, I think around 1, 2, probably, if that agreement's done. So we need to be monitoring that as well. So if you're not monitoring that, you need to, all right? I think that happens around 1 or 2, maybe even 3 o'clock. Kind of depends on when that all unravels and comes out public. So, I do know that, Zelensky, what's his name? I just watched Tommy Boy. What is his name? Anyways, Ukrainian president. Oh man, that's funny. Sorry. What is his name? Ukrainian president is here. They're having a meeting, but I don't remember the schedule off the top. And now I'm at the end of the show, and it's really unraveling here. So, anyways, so that's kind of what we're looking at today. There's some plays that are strong, and there's some plays that are have some uncertainty today. I realistically only love SPY calls or the S&P calls down in this range, 340, and then I'll really have confidence if we pop over 64.50. Okay, so 64.40, holding this range, 64.30 into this range down here. You're looking to buy calls, looking for it to pop over the top of 64.50 for any type of real certainty that we're going to have strength. But that's the only thing really that I'm looking at, saying, all right, we have some decent strength here. So, all right, that's going to be that, guys. Hopefully, this kind of went over what we're looking at today. This is one of those deals where it's probably going to turn into some, type of look like a bullish pennant or bullish channel, looking to really try to push up towards the top. But we're going to see if we crack some weakness and maybe people look to extend on the weakness. Okay. All right. If you guys are interested in what we do, then come take a look at us at wap.com/rawstocks. Come trade with us. We actually have a promo going on right now. It is 7 days for $7. This just makes sure that you're serious about coming in and learning what we do, because we've tried free trials and it's just people just not looking to learn what we do. They're just looking for straight alerts. And a lot of times we have competitors actually come to our Discord and try to steal our alerts for their own. So everyone here has been a certified trader through Top Step at one point in time, and we have a lot of experience here. So come take a look at us. We are at wap.com/rawstocks. It's $99 a month. If you sign up per month, or if you want to sign up, you save a little bit of money off of here on the annual, and then you get a Rawstocks 7-day promo, or just come join us in our free limited version here, where virtually you get access to our Discord, you get access to some free resources that we provide, and then we also have our free chat in there as well. So again, is in my link in my bio on X. If you're interested, click that, come join us, and yeah, until next time, we'll catch you later.